Honorable members of parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a warm good morning and a warm welcome to the Volta Serene Hotel, where the 3 days orientation program designed to equip and empower members of parliament for the task ahead in the 9th parliament begins this morning. We begin with an opening prayer, and since today marks the first day of Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan, we call on the Honorable Member of Parliament for Esekuma Odobin Brakwa constituency, Alhaji Gamsa Al-Hassan, to give us the opening prayer.
Please, let us pray. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghairil maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. ربنا أتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار آمين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة وهب لنا من أمرنا رشدا آمين. اللهم آمين.
Thank you, Alhaji Gamsa Al-Hassan, for the opening prayer. Parliament is not just a house for debate. It is an august opportunity for us to shape the lives of millions and redefine our democracy. For the 9th Parliament, we are privileged to have the Speaker of Parliament being an institution when it comes to parliamentary democracy. And we are privileged to have him with us this morning. We plead with honorable members to kindly place or put your phones on silent mode. And we also plead that there should be less disruptions and movement in the hall as we begin this orientation. Because whatever we are doing here this morning will go a long way to define the kind of parliament that we will have for this 9th Parliament. My name is Eric Edem Agbana, MP for Ketu North, and I am your MC for this morning. I'm doing this with my senior colleague. She will introduce herself.
Introduce your senior colleague. Thank you very much, Edem, and good morning to everyone once again. Good morning to you, Mr. Speaker. As Edem indicated, I'm co-emceeing this morning's opening ceremony with him. And so from time to time, you see me come upstage to do a few things in direction of this morning's activities. Before we get started, I think we'll need to invite the clerk to Parliament, Mr. Ebenezer Ahuma Jetro. All of us know Mr. Jetro very well, and most of us have admired him in the last 4 years that we've been around here, in the way and manner in which he goes about his business. You will never hear Mr. Jetro's voice, but he gets things done efficiently and effectively. I like his very quiet moves, and I'm sure you all do. Mr. Jetro, we are looking forward to your very effective support to us as members of Parliament, support to Mr. Speaker in order to lead this 9th Parliament to a very successful one, as some of us witnessed in the 8th Parliament. Mr. Jetro, you have the stand to give us your welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Co-MC, for those kind words. And good morning to all of us. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Leaders of the House, Honorable Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, Deputy Clerks, Assistant Deputy Clerks, Coordinating Directors, Directors of the Parliamentary Service, our esteemed facilitators, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, I consider it my pleasant duty once again to welcome you to the official opening of the 3-day orientation program designed for honorable members of the 9th Parliament. This is the second phase of the 2-part orientation program that the Parliamentary Service, under the direction of Right Honorable Speaker, is organizing for honorable members with the support of the leadership of this House. The first orientation program was held for the first time honorable members and some returning members at the Parliamentary Training Institute on the 3rd floor of the Parliamentary Supplementary Office Complex on the 11th through the 14th of January 2025. On behalf of the Parliamentary Service, I extend my warmest congratulations to you, our members, particularly the continuing honorable members, for your election to serve in this august House. Your presence here is a testament to the trust and confidence reposed in you by your constituents, who have entrusted you with the responsibility of representing their voices, shaping national policies, and strengthening democratic governance. Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to reiterate the motivational message I delivered to honorable members during the opening ceremony of the induction and orientation program for the first-time members of Parliament. That while the task ahead is daunting, it is not unsurmountable. Your constituents have their prescriptions of your roles as members of Parliament, which invariably differ significantly from your responsibilities as legislators defined in the 1992 Constitution. As honorable members, you shoulder critical responsibility of lawmaking, oversight, representation, control of the purse, conflict and grievance resolution, amongst others. These duties require profound understanding of parliamentary practice and procedure, the rules of engagement and the institutional framework within which our legislator operates. This orientation program has therefore been designed as part of the series of capacity building programs with the approval of Right Honorable Speaker to equip you, honorable members, with the requisite skills and knowledge to navigate the nuances of constituents' expectations of members of Parliament and the constitutional mandate as legislators. The dynamic interplay of constituents' prescriptions for your role and your former roles as members of Parliament, as envisaged under the Constitution, would undoubtedly require a careful balance for your very survival as astute members of Parliament. Indeed, whereas your constituents' survival at the constituency level depends significantly on your ability to marshal resources to meet demands as per their prescribed rules for you. Your imbibing the values of parliamentary practice and procedure is sine qua non to your thriving in this august house. Right Honorable Speaker has always remained committed to ensuring that you are well equipped to deliver on your constitutional mandate through many more of such programs, which will contribute meaningfully towards building your capacity. In this regard, the Parliamentary Training Institute has arranged a number of training programs tailored to meet the capacity needs of members. The training program, which have been informed by the varied backgrounds and expertise of honorable members, will soon be rolled out. Over the 3 days ahead, you will be taken through intense series of sessions covering key aspects of parliamentary practice and procedure, as well as the knowledge and skill required to retool effective legislators. The topics that will be explored include the rights of the majority and minority caucus of Parliament, conflict management, consensus building in a majoritarian legislature, the legislative process and private members' bills, the art of reviewing and analyzing legislation, mastering the rules of procedure, skills in advocacy, lobbying, and negotiation for legislators, and scrutinizing the budget and economic policy of government. Right Honorable Speaker, these topics are of utmost importance in ensuring that honorable members execute their responsibilities in a manner that is both effective and compliant with the constitutional and legal requirements governing the conduct of business and the exercise of the mandate of Parliament. I encourage honorable members to take full advantage of this opportunity and the wealth of experience of the facilitators and the resource persons. I assure you that the Parliamentary Service remains steadfast in our commitment to providing you with the necessary procedural, legal, technical, and administrative support services required to facilitate your work as honorable members. Honorable members, Parliament is a distinct institution with its own distinct set of norms and rules of engagement. In this regard, therefore, I strongly urge you to make every effort to continuously acquire knowledge, leveraging the experiences of the seasoned members among you to gain comprehensive understanding of the complexities and dynamics of your work as members of Parliament. Once again, congratulations on your election as honorable members of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. May this orientation program mark the beginning of a successful journey in your legislative service to our dear nation. Honorable members, I wish you a productive and insightful orientation program which will ultimately secure for us and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity for the entire citizenry. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. This is not on the order paper, but with the leave of the Speaker, may I kindly recognize those in this auditorium. We start with the staff of Parliament. Staff of Parliament, kindly just give a wave. Staff of Parliament. Coordinating directors and directors of Parliament. We also have the Chief of Staff of the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kofi Atto. We have our resource persons. We have our resource persons. I can see Lawyer Kofi Abochi, the Dean of the UPSA Law Faculty. Professor Kofi Abochi. We have the Assistant Deputy Clerks. Assistant Deputy Clerks, they are with us. We also have Dr. Gloria Sako Kumeu and Camilo Puamen. They are the deputy clerks. We have the clerk of parliament. He just gave us the opening address. Mr. Ebenezer Ahuma Jetro. We also have honorable members of parliament. We have the deputy majority chief whip, Honorable Richard Achampon, second deputy majority chief whip. First deputy majority chief whip, Honorable Comfort Doyo. We have the majority chief whip, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Eche Kwame Dapamekpo. We have our venerable majority leader, the Honorable Mahama Ayariga. We have our second deputy speaker of parliament, the Honorable Andrew Amwako Esiama. Our first deputy speaker of parliament, Honorable Bernard Ahiafo. We are told he is the king of winnowing. Then we are privileged to have with us the Right Honorable Speaker himself. Father, oh Father, the Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. It's now time to take an address from the majority leader. We invite the Honorable Mahama Ayariga.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speakers of our Parliament, the Clerk of Parliament, my colleagues in leadership, Chief Whip, Deputy Chief Whips, distinguished colleague, members of Parliament, our resource persons here, the clerks, and members of the Parliamentary Press Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my Nigerian friends will say, all protocols observed. It is with great pride and profound sense of responsibility that I welcome all of you to this orientation program. I know that the night parliament is already on full flight. We've been at it for, I believe, 2 months now and counting. But this occasion provides us an opportunity to learn and reflect on the values that should guide us in the next 4 years when we work together to defend, to uphold our democracy. Let me welcome the new members of Parliament. I can see many of you are already performing very well on the floor and very regular in your constituencies. As a result, we suffer on the floor. But you're already busy working as members of Parliament in a very impressive way, and we are very happy to see that. But there's a lot of work that lies ahead of us, and we need to prepare ourselves well. And that is the essence of this exercise, the orientation program that we are going to commence this morning. For the returning members, I see we've suffered some casualties. And I mean, many of us have gotten into ministerial portfolios, and that is going to take them away from us a lot of the time. But I want to say that many of our colleagues are still in the house and will take time to mentor the newer members of Parliament and guide them and build their capacity as we go along the way. It is important for us to appreciate that Ghana has become the envy of a lot of African countries and respected in the world, largely because of our democracy, our capacity to engage in elections, and in between elections, our institution of parliament works hard to hold the executive accountable and to ensure that the country is properly run. And when we are done with elections, we have developed the capacity to ensure a smooth and successful transition. Parliament is at the heartbeat of democracy, and we have held our own in the last 3 decades, and we are admired across the continent. For us to continue to maintain such high standards and to remain the envy of the rest of the world, we must strengthen our parliament, we must build our skills, our competencies, so that we'll continue to perform as a very credible and successful parliament. We must learn how to hold the executive accountable. We must learn how to ensure that in our practice as parliamentarians, we represent our constituents. We must learn how to ensure that we have our country run by various institutions efficiently and effectively, and that the democracy that we have is actually delivering social and economic benefits to our people, because that is what the people expect. To do this effectively, we need to have the tools. We need to learn how to utilize the tools, and we need to use the tools. And this whole exercise today is to train us, to help us acquire the skills, how to debate, how to move motions, how to bring issues onto the agenda of Parliament, how to get ministers on the floor, how to engage with ministers, how to relate to the media, how to function most effectively and successfully as members of Parliament. Let me assure you from the onset that there are many members of Parliament, and the Speaker is here to bear me out. There are many members of Parliament who spend so much time in their constituencies and yet lost their elections. Because at the end of the day, the campaign against them was that they never saw them in Parliament. They never heard them in Parliament. And they never spoke in Parliament. They were not seen in Parliament. So you can visit your constituencies as often as possible. You can do you can do all the development work. You can do all the development work, but if you don't really spend time in the chamber and perform as a member of Parliament in the chamber, it will ultimately count against you in the next election. So please take advantage of the opportunities provided to train yourself and to do well whilst you are regular in your constituencies, to also participate effectively in Parliament. Let me thank the Speaker for providing this platform for our colleagues to come and learn, and to assure him that we'll pay full attention and take advantage of the opportunity that has been offered us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Majority Leader. This is before the orientation actually kickstarts. I have learned a new thing. I have been corrected that there is nothing like Deputy Chief Whip, but we have Deputy Whip. And thank you, Honorable Haruna Seidu, for the correction. Thank you so much. We now take a break, an interlude break, after which the program will continue. Thank you.
Honorable members, so Mr. Speaker will take the keynote address. But before that, I just want to make a quick announcement that we've prepared a very beautiful backdrop for taking photographs. And so once we are done from here and we go up, we will be having, photo sessions here. So anybody who wants to take a photograph can come here and take. You can post yourself on your handles. And when you post, please, you can use our various hashtags, like bringing Parliament closer to the people, engaging to empower, hashtag Parliament, and then tag Parliament so that you will trend and Parliament will also trend.
Thank you very much, Madam Kate. Yeah, as we wait for Right Honorable Speaker to join us, I want to commend all of us one more time for making it here and making it punctually. I can see on my right, am I seeing right? Am I seeing Honorable Bam Bam? Yes. On my right is Honorable Avoka, now member of the Council of Elders of the Republic, Council of State of the Republic of Ghana. I wasn't sure. Please, you will have to just stand up so that everyone can catch a glimpse of you and be sure that you are the one. And I can assure you that many of us will want to take some very memorable photographs with you after this session. We are very grateful for making it here with us this morning. The Honorable First Deputy Speaker, we are very happy that you are here with us, and we know that you are going to add to everything that we are going to be doing in the next 2 days to enrich us and make us the better for it. I see on my left my husband and the second Deputy Speaker. You see, when I said my husband, the Chief Whip giggled. I just want him to know that he's not the only one. So when he refuses to attend to me, I have many others. And one of them is the Deputy. I'm not fasting. I took a break. So, you see, who said that? That's my chairman. He's just exposing me. So the second Deputy Speaker, Honorable Esiama, MP for Femena, is my husband. Because he sort of shares borders with my husband's constituency. My husband is from Bekwai. And so, but maybe he needs to just say a few words to us to let us know. We know that he's a second Deputy Speaker, but we also want to check politically, in what capacity are you here today? Because the elephants refuse to come to host. So, Mr. Speaker, we are happy to have you. So, forgive us and permit us if we introduce you as the second Deputy Speaker and also the representative of the Elephants of Parliament. Anyway, so, yeah. All right. So, Right Honorable Speaker is back, and just before I do the honors of introducing him, I'll hand over the mic to my colleague, Honorable Edem, to share a few thoughts with us.
Thank you, honorable members. We are kindly pleading with you that all the pictures that we are getting shows that most of us are on our phones. We plead that when the speaker is speaking, we put our phones away and pay attention. Otherwise, headmaster can punish us. So please, before the speaker comes, let's do well to put our phones away. It's a humble plea from leadership. Thank you so much. My colleague will introduce the Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Edem. Don't take away my notes. Yeah. So, colleague MPs, members of the Parliamentary Service Board, our honorable ministers of state, our honorable deputy ministers of state designate, and the leadership of Parliament, I want you to join me this morning to welcome the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, to address this very important session this morning. Mr. Speaker, as we welcome you, rest assured that your name has become a household name. And Ghanaians are watching Parliament more than government. And Right Honorable Speaker is doing everything to keep all of us in good stead in the eyes of Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, we pledge our support, and we know that you are going to lead us to do better than we did before. Thank you very much and welcome. Thank you.
Please be seated. May I, with your kind permission, stand on the existing protocol and to happily welcome all of you to this orientation workshop. A lot has already been said, very relevant and important things have been said by earlier speakers, and I will not repeat many of what you've already been told. I will add just a few, and you know when I say a few, what it means. I see in my mind's eye anxiety, expectant people in a highly hopeful country. I also see a crop of parliamentarians. According to the Interparliamentary Union, one of the youngest parliaments in the world. I see these members poised to slug it out in a very competitive manner if given a fair and motivating platform. This calls for a spirit of genuine and honest collaboration and acceptance to abide by the agreed norms, rules, laws, culture, and etiquette for engagement in the legislature. Here, I want to call your attention to the important guiding imperatives. Please, the constitutions of Ghana, particularly the 1992 Constitution. But more importantly, the antecedents. If you want to be a good member of Parliament, you need to read all this. Because the principles you read in the 1992 Constitution have a history. And sometimes some interpretation fall very short of what is expected. Before independence, our colonial masters, the United Kingdom, handed over a constitution to us. Our founding fathers, led by the first Prime Minister and first President of Ghana, didn't like it. But he said, let's accept it. After independence, then we'll know what to do with it. And so, you know what happened immediately after independence. You have to read from that constitution up to the 1992 constitution. And in looking at it, I'm surprised that people trying to interpret the provisions of the 1992 Constitution refuse to read the debates of the Consultative Assembly. My Chief of Staff is here. And when you read the debates of the Consultative Assembly, then you can try to decipher the intent of the framers of the Constitution. This is missing even in the Supreme Court. They don't refer to the debates of the Consultative Assembly. Don't deny yourself that huge knowledge and wisdom. It was made out of men and women of wisdom. Please, also don't forget about the laws. We have the Parliament Act. We have the Parliamentary Service Act. We have the old standing orders. They are too numerous for you to read, but at least the last one before the 2024 standing orders. Please read the Code of Conduct for members of Parliament. And there are other instruments that we passed, particularly after the Parliamentary Service Act was passed. These all give you the norms, the rules, the laws, the culture, and etiquettes. Sometimes we refer to them as parliamentary law. They will assist you to understand, to appreciate, and to know how to navigate the very difficult career you opted for yourselves. I know that this calls for an impartial, fair, and firm referee. I have already pledged in my acceptance speech and other speeches as the Speaker to offer honorable members this character of leadership. My deputies have very serious challenges, particularly following the decision of the Supreme Court. It's very difficult for them to try to play the impartiality because the interpretation has placed them in the position firmly of partial referees. That they are members of Parliament and they represent constituencies.
and they have a vote, and they can even vote whilst presiding. So that has added a different layer of serious challenge. And I see it as a preside and try to be impartial. They do their best. I always sit and observe it. This game, to provide this impartiality, that a few weeks ago, the first part of 2 sets of orientation and induction seminar was organized by the Parliamentary Service, specifically for the first-time members of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. We took 4 good days for this orientation and induction. The objectives of the seminar were to engage with the said members of Parliament on the rudiments of parliamentary practice and procedures, with a focus on the standing orders of Parliament, as well as the role and responsibilities of the Member of Parliament to his or her constituents, political party, if any, and country as a whole. And so continuing members of Parliament did not need this one. That is why we decided to focus on only the first-time MPs. Some continuing members seem to have taken issue with that. Please, you got it all wrong, because you have got this already. And I can assure you that the objectives of the seminar were greatly achieved, and the outcomes are very, very inspiring. It's my time now to welcome you to this first induction and orientation workshop designed for all members of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. This is the first session of an annual program of capacity building of members by the Parliamentary Service. And this is for members of the 9th Parliament under my leadership. Every session we have a workshop. And this one is to be upgraded as we go along into deeper areas of governance and law. And so in the new organogram, we have established a whole subdivision on governance and law. And I will encourage some of you to take advantage of the course in the various universities. I took advantage of it for my master's. Let me also once again congratulate you all for the hard-won victory in the 2024 parliamentary elections, and wish all of you the best. I am very satisfied with what I have achieved as a member of Parliament, and particularly when I see my children here performing excellently well. So this father is not for anything. I earned it. Yes, some I met in junior high school, some in the training colleges, some in the polytechnics, some in the universities, and some on the political field. The younger ones are here. And so this is a really very young parliament. My best wishes to you all as you begin your journey as representatives and political leaders of your respective constituencies and our dear country, Ghana. Your election as members of parliament presents you with the opportunity to contribute meaningfully to the quality of lives of Ghanaians and the development of our Ghana, our country. This is an onerous responsibility, very, very difficult to fulfill. It demands a lot of attention, focus. It demands service and sacrifice. Sacrifice of oneself and family. And please look back to all the successful politicians and tell me what they left behind in terms of material gains. Look back at the state of their families. But I assure you, it's also rewarding. Not necessarily materially, but in reputation, self-actualization, and dignity. So among all those who have been the richest in the country, you don't hear of their names. But at least you all hear of Dr. Kwame. You know the state of his family. I don't think you even know the state of the family of Dr. J.B. Dankwa. He had a number of wives and so many children. You don't know. And one great speaker had 5. I won't mention his name. In Ghana here, he had 5. And those of you who know your parents who were ministers, I won't talk about our chiefs, but your parents who were ministers, some had as many as 9. You can't achieve success in the service of God, man or woman and country without a transformation of your mindset and elevation of your leadership qualities. To be able to do this, you have to write a new story of your life and live it. Those who knew me in school saw me a different person in politics, because I have to write a new story of my life and live it. I was a very quiet, calm gentleman. I could walk past you unnoticed. Just focus on reading. I sparingly spoke. When I entered politics, it became a different ballgame. And to be able to do this, please, unless you don't want this to be a career, and I assure you so many members of parliament have passed through parliament without parliament passing through them. And people assume that because they were in parliament, they know what happens in parliament. There are so many of the former members of parliament who have no inkling of what happens in Parliament. And when you hear them talk, it's so sad. I don't want you to be that type of members of Parliament. And so we'll do everything to offer you such opportunities. You take it or leave it. Because these orientation workshops are the building blocks to equip you with the tools and mindset necessary to do what you've been elected to do, to serve. To serve with clarity, to serve with insight, with purpose, and to serve with happiness. You should enjoy what you do. People should see it in you. People should feel it. And that is how you earn the trust. And until you give up, you will always be elected to come to Parliament. There's no magic one apart from this. And some of the things that are glaringly open for Ghanaians to see, they don't even see it. But at least you can see the products of Parliament in persons like Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers. I was his leader in Parliament. And when he approached me, that has been offered to serve in the ECOWAS. Studying him and knowing who he was, I said, you've got enough grounding in Parliament. You are better suited in that area than in the rough and tumble of Ghanaian politics. But please, our boss, our president, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings is there. Kindly consult him. And he did. And we both agreed that he could opt out of Parliament. That is how come he left to be at the ECOWAS. And you see where he is now. Again, Ms. Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, just recent. You see where she is. But before that, we had my own wife, Ms. Hannah Tete Abuti. Happily, her sister is here with us. Where's my sister-in-law? Hey, these days I've got some rivals. I have to. They are all there for you to see. They all passed through Parliament. Look at where they are now. Just a few days ago, we lost the parliamentarian of all ages. I said, the parliamentarian. You can go and Google and look at the persons we refer to as the parliamentarian. Mr. Samuel N. Darkwa. He just passed away early this month. He has left behind an illustrious legacy of unparalleled service from Gold Coast to the Fourth Republic of Ghana. He and the late KB Ayensu negotiated a transitional parliament before 1957. And he stayed in Parliament as a clerk until he retired in 1996. And he glued his life to Parliament until recently. I had the opportunity of being with him until his last days. And he's written books which are there for you to read. Because what is happening in our parliament today is actually not parliament. I know there's climate change. I don't know whether that has also affected the institution of parliament. I know there's democratic decay globally. But I don't expect that it should have eaten so deep into our own very lively, majestic, and dignified house. And so before SN Darkwa passed, he used to get in touch with me as to how we could try and manage the situation. I'm happy anyway. It was the first time MPs have given me a lot of hope. At the end of the first orientation and induction, they actually exhumed and exhibited quality. They understood at least the basics that were passed on to them. And they spoke. And I was very satisfied that there's a future for this country. Please, this is the first opportunity for you to break the ice, the first timers. This is the first opportunity for you to make new friends and build a parliamentary family with your senior and more experienced career members of parliament. We lost a very great opportunity because the turbulence of parliament once again has shown. I only saw a WhatsApp message last night that our colleagues, our brothers and sisters of the New Patriotic Party have opted out, giving a reason that is completely unacceptable. There's good reason why we choose venues for this. It's not partisan. There's always a search party. And they go around, discuss with the various hospitalities, look at the cost components, the facilities, their suitability, the convenience of your movement, because there are other pressures on you, and there are score marks before we decide where to go. There's no partisanship in this at all. This time around, the parliamentary service followed the same. That is what is done. And the final results are brought to the Speaker. And until I have a very good reason why it shouldn't be at that place, I just give my approval. And to have 276 members of parliament and staff, because the staff work with you. And if you don't build the capacity of the staff, the institution, they will not be in the position to serve you, to provide what you need to be able to satisfy the immeasurable, unlimited demands of the country, of your people, and of the world. So it's usually a large number of people. The reason is that the cost component is too much. And they don't want to be part of that. We don't want to talk. Please don't allow your political differences to enslave you. Don't be also enslaved by our history. And that's one of the biggest challenges we have in this country. What our grandfathers did is what has enslaved us. And who will emancipate us from our mental slavery? Nobody except ourselves. Your political differences notwithstanding, your future depends on how you build new bridges here and how you conduct your life as a leader of your people. Please guide against bad peer influence. For nobody is like you. Nobody is better than you. You are unique, with unique potentials. Your destiny is different from anybody else. I've seen signs and signals of it already. Peer influence. Please, don't buy it. Let me once again reiterate that it's very important and very essential for you to appreciate the laws, the constitutions, the acts, the standing orders. Because by your election, a huge mandate and responsibility has been bestowed on you. When you read the books on the mandate of an MP, the academics, like my very good friend and brother here, Professor Abuchi, have produced books talking about mandates of the member of parliament. And it's in only clear systems that you can define it. But in what we call here as hybrid, for want of a better term, we use the term hybrid. It's very difficult to define the mandate of a member of parliament in Ghana. Very difficult. So they outside there use the theory. And that's how they classify and see you. That your mandate is to do 1, 2, 3. But that is not what has been imposed on us here in Ghana. And so you can lose your elections just because somebody, a constituent, has come to you to give him money for a bride price of a second or third wife, and you fail to do so or refuse to do so, and then he will turn against you. And you go around destroying you without giving the reason why he says that you are not good. And because of the gullibility of the Ghanaian, they will buy into it. And your next election, you are no more. Please, this is very difficult. And so what you have to do is to listen attentively to the resource persons that we brought here. They are going to share with you the tools of your work. You have to be very observant. Because most of the things we learn which make us effective, it's not just the rules and law. It's not just the skills and competences that have been referred to, but the tactics, just by seeing and hearing. The body language that you use. It's not in any book. And so if you are not focused, and as I keep on saying, you must know the people you are leading. If not, you go to one community, just one word, and you are destroyed. And that's why when I'm giving you stories, you marvel where I got them from, because I took the time to read. And my second deputy speaker will tell you, when I'm talking to him about Formina and the beginning of his tribe. Do you know his tribe? Huh? Do you know his tribe? Oh, the people of Formina. And why are they called Adanses? Huh? Yes. They were the first people to start that technology of building. You see, all this I teach you for free. You don't pay. They were the greatest, far ahead of the others that came later on. Whether Dangerous or Asantes and the rest, they were the greatest. They are dancers. Anyway, we need to develop first self-leadership. And that's what I was referring to. To cultivate the culture of keenly and patiently observing and listening to colleagues, particularly those of diverse and different shades of opinions and interests. It's from there that you can acquire insight and formulate new ideas and innovative approaches to accomplish bigger and bolder things. Once you know your opponents very well, there is no way they can match you. And I started this as a small boy who was called up to be minority leader. I had to start learning who the New Patriotic Party are, the members, their background. And I read so much that when I'm discussing with some of them, they get surprised. So you have to start here and now on how to apply your knowledge and competencies to quickly understand, accumulate and accommodate the norms, the rules, the laws, the ethics, and etiquette of parliamentary law, practice and procedures, and the intricacies of governance and public policy. In my absence, I was in Morocco when people were calling me as to what was happening in Parliament. That I had made a statement saying there should be no public hearing of the special committee that I established to inquire and investigate into the happenings at the Appointments Committee. And I heard my son, the minority leader, on air. And so I came down and called him. and said, please, take your standing orders. Read. What does the standing orders say about the meetings of committees? Is it not clearly stated that it's public hearing? Who determines when not to turn the meeting into public hearing? Is it not the chairman and the committee members? Is it the speaker? As a lawyer, you don't know the difference between public hearing and public debate. But that confused Ghanaians. But it is there in your standing orders as to what to do. But the Ghanaians don't have copies of your standing orders. Even if they have it, they don't have the time or leisure or even the ability to read, to understand it. You are brought here and you are guided on all this. They don't have this opportunity. And please, I want to emphasize this point. It's very important for you. Or else, at the end of the day, you erode the basis of our existence. And we, those who have experienced it before, we never want to see it happen again in Ghana. So at this orientation session, the number of experts and senior colleagues with hands-on experience are here. We solicit them. They are here to serve us. It's not for monetary benefits. And they are here to engage you on topics relating to various aspects of the parliamentary business. I just want to emphasize the areas that the clerk has mentioned. The rights of the majority and the rights of the minority. Conflict management and consensus building. Our colleagues are not here, but I'm sure they will learn later that minority means minority. Decisions on the floor are taken by a vote. And when you talk about the majority, it doesn't necessarily mean on the floor. It doesn't necessarily mean the majority party. No. The majority of the members in the House voting in favor of the question. And so when I'm talking about protecting minority, I'm not just talking about protecting minority party. I'm talking about leaving nobody behind. Making sure that a platform is created. Opportunities are created for everybody. That's what I'm talking about. And so, if they were here with us, they would have gone a step further to understand the responsibilities of members of parliament and how to be an effective legislature, mastering the rules of procedure. The theatrics and drama that you play on the floor these days is not meant for every day. It should be once a while. Now, it's like a boys' game. If you are playing a football that is mine, if you score my team, I'll take the ball away. Some of these, your senior members, will lead you through the skills in advocacy, lobbying, and negotiation for a legislator. You are not in parliament to depend on the executive. If you are going to depend on only the executive to help you develop your constituency, you'll be disappointed. You should be able to go beyond the executive to mobilize resources and support for your constituency and for yourself. And there are so many opportunities outside there. And people are observing you all from outside. I got all my travels in the first parliament and second parliament from institutions outside parliament because of the role I was playing. I was invited, they sponsored me to many international conferences. And I learned a lot from those and joined some as far back as 1994. I'm a patron of a number of them, and I go to assist them to mobilize resources. Anytime we run out of budget, they send people to come and interview me as to the benefits or the need for such organizations. And I do it, and they get funded. So please, don't be struggling to catch the eye of the president. Please, do all you can to catch the eye of the speaker. And that is not just a skill. It goes beyond that. You can easily always catch the eye of the speaker if you learn it. We have to be able, that's one of them, a subject to good behavior. And at this time, I'll apply the whip. I always say, but I don't apply. But this time around, I will apply it. And some of you, I can tell you, you know me, I don't hide things. I will disapprove your travels when I see you misbehaving. It's notice. Don't beg me because I won't give in. So you have to learn all that. And more importantly, how to monitor and evaluate public services. And also the capital that we approve. You see, Parliament is not just the cornerstone of democracy. Parliament is democracy. That is the only institution that is democratic. The executive belongs to one party. And very difficult for them to reach out to all the citizens of the country. Parliament, we can easily do it. And that is why this initiative of the Minister for Lands and Forestry about how to fight galamsey is a very good initiative because you are the people that can lead that battle. And so it's very, very important for the country to acknowledge and accept that. That's why the new constitutions, constitutional expert is here. He's written a very good book. I'm reading it. I've not yet finished reading. I bought some copies. I've distributed to members. There are still a few left. And I expect those who are trying to do law, you can come for copies. I have still a few copies. But you have money. Go and buy from him. He has plenty on sale. You know, the new constitutions now start with the legislature. Not the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. They now start with the legislature. Because it's the legislature that is not only the democracy, but it's the legislature that approves the policies, that passes the laws for the executive to now do what? Implement or execute. And when there's dispute, then the judiciary comes in to try to settle the dispute. So that's what new constitutions are now starting with. And that's what I will capture, like I did for the service, parliamentary service staff. They can attest to you. This 4 years, we'll do all we can to make the member of parliament more attractive than that of the minister of state. So that when you are choosing, it's not only constitutional reforms, but it should also be felt by the members. You choose to be a career member of parliament, not to use parliament as a stepping stone to be a minister of state. You are the people, together with the president, that they are looking up to, not the ministers. Because you are the people that they have elected to make a difference in their lives. So why should the appointees rather have more or better facilities than the elected? We will change that narrative. I count on your leaders to support me in this. Please, there's also the opportunity to go beyond the subjects that we put, to exchange views with our distinguished resource persons. I just introduced one to you. He's always ready, ever ready, always willing to share his knowledge and experiences, and I have benefited tremendously from it. Honorable members, I am confident that the program will come handy, useful, and beneficial to you all. You are therefore entreated to be present at the various presentations, dedicate these 3 days to the workshop, and actively participate to the end. You will not regret doing so. Together with leadership, the Parliamentary Service has programmed to qualitatively elevate these workshops annually. Before I conclude, let me state that this orientation session is not an end in itself, as it cannot give you all that you need to undertake your business as a member of parliament. You should therefore be guided by the adage that learning is a continuous process, and no one should ever stop learning. A good leader is a good reader. Never stop reading despite the pressures from the society, particularly your constituents. Literature on parliament and parliamentarians abound. I therefore entreat you to keep reading and learning as you embark on this difficult but noble career of a member of parliament. May the Lord use you as instruments of development and drivers of change in the lives of your constituents and country. And so, after this, you start interpreting whether you are agents of development or not. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And very few indeed. We are very grateful, Mr. Speaker. You provoked a lot of thoughts as you gave us your address. And the good thing with that, Mr. Speaker, is that we could all easily identify with your thoughts and what you were trying to communicate. I think we leave here the better due to your very elaborate and rich address. We are very grateful, Mr. Speaker. We pledge on behalf of my colleague MPs, all 275 of us, and Mr. Speaker, as you know, we still have the 76th member outstanding. But whichever way it tilts, you have 41 women in your chamber. we are hoping that it tilts the umbrella way anyway, so that you have 31 members, women on our side. We are very grateful for your time. We are grateful for your thoughts. We are grateful, Mr. Speaker, for the energy and commitment you put into even working with the Parliamentary Service Board and our leaders to agree on our resource persons for today. I'm personally delighted that Professor Buchi is here. We know what he means for us and what we are going to gain. On Tuesday, I'll be the first one at your office to get a copy of the book, Mr. Speaker. And I want to also pledge that we are all going to be of very good behavior, starting with me, so that our trips will be approved. And we can work towards making your ninth parliament the envy of Africa one more time. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to invite Honorable Professor Ayensu Dankwa Grace, Honorable Member of Parliament for Esikado Ketan in the Western region. His Excellency the President made some very good promises to you guys 2 days ago in Parliament. He says Western region is going to have a new breath of life. And we know that he's a man of his words. Please give us the vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
And we are very grateful to His Excellency the President. Good morning, everyone. Right Honorable Speaker, Leadership of Parliament, the Clerk of Parliament, Council of State Member, resource persons, colleague MPs, media men and women, and everyone present. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be called to present this vote of thanks. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for your dedication, advice, and admonitions to us during this orientation training program of members of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Right Honorable Speaker, 3 take-home messages from today, listening to your speech. And these messages are messages that I think that we should all take home. The first one, Mr. Speaker, is the message to foster a spirit of genuine collaboration, to abide to norms, rules, laws, culture, and etiquette. The second, Mr. Speaker, is for us to read and familiarize ourselves with the 1992 Constitution, and more importantly, to the antecedent and debate of the constitutional assemblies that birthed the 1992 Constitution. The third one, Mr. Speaker, is you admonished us to know the laws, the parliamentary acts, the Parliamentary Service Act, the current standing orders, and also the last standing order before this current standing order. Finally, Mr. Speaker, you admonished us that we have to make sacrifices and to watch our own conduct. Mr. Speaker, we have taken your advice in good faith. I am sure that on behalf of my colleagues, we can also assure you that we will abide to your words. We will serve, to use your own words, in clarity, purpose, intent, and interest. And throughout all of this, we assure you that we will also continue to know that we are all unique individuals. Mr. Speaker, thank you again for taking your time to care for us. We are forever grateful. Thank you for this kind message. We are, again, forever grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Grace Ayensu Dankwa, for that insightful vote of thanks. Please take note of the following announcements. After the closing prayer, Mr. Speaker will join members for a group photograph. after which we will move to the rooftop where we took our breakfast for a very, very short coffee break. After the coffee break, all of us will meet on the 3rd floor for the second part of today's program at exactly 1 p.m. And please, punctuality is a key component of Mr. Speaker's good behavior. So if you don't want your trips to be disapproved, kindly report at exactly 1 p.m. for the commencement of the orientation. Mr. Speaker, before the closing prayer, the first-timers have a special appreciation to you and to the leadership of the House. We want to thank you for the encouragement always, and we want to say that your observation that the first-timers are promising is because of the leadership that we have, especially the leadership of the majority caucus. We want to thank our whips and also the majority leader for always encouraging us, supporting us with reading materials and building our capacity to perform to expectation. Thank you so much to the leadership. We now invite... Okay. The picture will be taken downstairs, please. The group photograph will be taken downstairs. We now invite the Member of Parliament for the Okankwe North constituency, Obana Teresa Ladi Awuni, for the closing prayer.
Thank you very much. Please, let's all stretch our hands towards Mr. Speaker and say, God bless you, Father. May God grant you good health and long life. Let's pray. Father, we thank you this morning for this special orientation program. We thank you for the life of our Right Honorable Speaker. Father, thank you for always granting him good health. Father, we thank you for the wisdom and the love that he showed towards us all the time. Thank you for the leadership of Parliament. Thank you for our parliamentary service. Thank you for members of Parliament. As we bring a close to the first session, it is our prayer, O Lord, that you guide us to learn through the next sessions that we are going through, so that this training will go through us for us to make impact in the 9th Parliament. This and more we ask to our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yes. Kindly, honorable members, please let's move down quickly and get set for Mr. Speaker to join us. Okay, honorable members,